Y'all sit down. We got to talk about Diddy and this win that his team got in the form of a gag order. Listen, let me tell y'all something. We got to break this down because let me tell you something. The new judge in Diddy's case is not playing. And as much as Diddy's team wants to spin this as a win, it wasn't a win at all. And we're going to go into why. On top of that, okay, we're going to talk about what this gag order really was and the way the judge literally side-eyed Diddy's team and gave them what they wanted. Gave them what they asked for, but not what they wanted. Y'all, let's get into this. On top of that, we can now put the New York Post firmly in the TMZ camp as saying when you listen to their coverage, I'm sure they are being unbiased, but it seems like they have a heavy Diddy slant, if you will. And we got to talk about that. Okay, first, I know y'all already heard Diddy was successful and got a win in issuing a gag order. But if you actually go into the documents and what the judge said, baby, this wasn't a win. And the new judge, who was young, by issuing this order, and we're going to get into how it wasn't the one they think it is, ruined Diddy's chances to get the judge's ruling overturned. The judge saw him coming from the door and he said, not in my court, not in my court. Now, let me just say one thing. Diddy's new team, you can tell Mark Agnifilio is not on the ones and twos. They're making very stunning, clever legal moves. They know how to work the system. But at the end of the day, your client is guilty as all sin, or at least I believe that he is because I believe the victims. At the end of the day, all these people are coming out being like, wait until you see the facts. We should just mind our business. You want us to mind our business because you're hoping that Diddy's team can run interference like they've been running for the last 30 years and he can get away with it, okay? On top of that, I get that a lot of people in the industry are very nervous because they're like, wait a second. What Diddy did is called schmex trafficking. Yeah, exactly. What's that mean for you? All the stuff y'all was talking about, giving girls things without them knowing, moving people across. Yeah, we have a word for that in America. It's called schmex trafficking. It's called grape. It's called keep it up, right? Listen, it's called keep doing that mess. See what you gonna find, baby. Push your luck. That's what that's called. Okay. So anyway, um, oh, so anyway, right now, what's going on with that? First, let's get into this gag order, and then we'll talk about all that other mess because Diddy's team is ridiculous. Again, for anybody that dreams of becoming the next Diddy and having those freak offs and stuff, baby, see what you're gonna find, baby. Push your luck. See what you're gonna find. Push your luck. Push your luck, right? So, sorry about that. Let me just pull this up. Okay. Now here's the New York Post. Judge in Diddy's sex trafficking case warns feds um, after alleged info leak. Hold on, y'all. They said judge slaps feds with a gag order in Diddy criminal case after everything's said and done. Okay, but what is so true about it? He warned feds, right? After alleged info leak. He said it was plainly improper. Again, the New York Post is twisting words to make Diddy look more innocent than he actually is, okay? They said Sean Diddy Combs won a small victory in court. It wasn't a small victory because that's not what they were going for. After a judge slapped down federal agents suspected in leaking information in his sex trafficking case. Diddy's lawyers had asked for a gag order on the feds after the Post detailed the embattled musician's depraved alleged freak-offs and quoted a federal law enforcement source involved in the probe who alleges that the orgies were sick-ish. Okay? Now, one, we don't even know if that was a real person. Two, they're just making up stuff, in my opinion. But listen to this. In response, this was a stunning victory. Manhattan federal judge Aaron Subramanian issued an order late Friday warning federal prosecutors and other law enforcement officials working on the case to follow existing laws barring them from releasing any grand jury information or other non public information that could impact a fair trial. He said, those remarks, now listen to this, if made by an agent involved in the investigation or prosecution of this case, are plainly improper. So he said, to be clear, This order isn't based on a finding that there was any wrongdoing thus far, as the court has made no findings at this juncture relating to Diddy's allegations that information related to the case has been leaked. The point of this order is to help ensure that nothing happens from now on that would interfere with a fair trial. The court will take appropriate action for any violation of the rules. Now, as you know, Diddy's team has been alleging all this conspiracy stuff. The judge came back and said, I haven't found anything like that. But let me remind prosecution that you're not supposed to be leaking anything that happened in a grand jury. However, this was also a warning to Diddy's team. You people aren't supposed to know anything that happens in a grand jury investigation. Remember when Mark Agnifili was like, we've known for a while about the grand jury and he was going to be arrested. And I said, well, since you know so much, Professor, how did you know what was going on in confidential grand jury? You're so busy talking about what everybody else can't be doing. How do y'all know what's going on? This gag order for the U.S. government is reminding, but also Mark Agnifili's team is not supposed to know anything. I'm sorry, Shapiro. She's the one doing everything. It should not be knowing anything about what's going on. But you guys, there's a little bit more than that. Okay. They want to talk about Cassie's video. Okay. They want to get it struck from the record. I know Stephen A. Smith was like, if he could get it struck, he gonna win the whole case. And I said, Stephen, you're forgetting one thing. The video isn't the only proof of what happened to Cassie. They have even bigger proof, better proof. Do you know what that is? Cassie M.F. and Ventura sitting on the stand and tearfully telling us exactly what Diddy did to her. We don't need the tape for it to happen. And I dare Diddy, double dare Diddy, triple dare Diddy to sit on the stand and say, I don't know what she's talking about. That never happened. I mean, I might have tripped her in the hallway playing, but no, I would never put my hands on her. Just because the video can't be admitted doesn't mean that Diddy can't sit in a court of law and lie his butt off when everybody knows he's lying. That's not the way justice works in America. And we don't need the video. We got Cassie's lawsuit and we have Cassie's, what will be her tear-filled testimony. Now, let's get into why this was an actual stunning legal victory for the prosecutor, even though New York Post is trying to spin it. Now, why would they spin it? Because Diddy is trying to make it look like the feds are picking on him. A lot of people are talking about the Abercrombie and Fitch guy that got arrested and he's out on bail, and all these sickos are all out on bail. To which I will say this: Diddy could have been another sicko out on bail. But do you know why he's not on bail and all the other Pedialyte bears in the legal system that are currently in the legal system, you know why they're out on bail? Because none of them did obstruction of justice. None of them did jury tampering. None of them did any type of coercion, bribery, or threatening of victims. Or if they did, the federal government hasn't found out. If you know of them doing that, don't be mad in the YouTube comments. Call 1-800 HSITIP and report that. Call the local feds, call the prosecutors. Do what you can. You don't got to be mad. Report the issue if you actually know that they were doing wrong. The goal isn't to put the bar in hell. The goal is for everybody to be held accountable the same way, okay? But all jokes aside, right? I mean, that's not a joke, but let's change the subject for a second, right? Diddy is locked up because he tried to interfere. He tried to witness tampering. He is a danger to the investigation. Diddy wasn't playing fair. He thought he was going to be too bit slick. The feds found out about it and they parked himself in jail. Diddy is the reason he's not walking around. Diddy's arrogance is the reason he's not walking around. Diddy's RICO organization that thought they were going to be like one life thug wife, right? It's the reason it's the reason he is in jail. I hope Diddy feels stupid right now because you could have been out with all the other Pedialyte bears, having fun, still having consenting freak offs, if there's a such thing as that, and doing your thing. But you ain't want that. You ain't want that. That could be you, but you ain't want that. You wanted to be on your thug life, uh, uh, whatever. Anyway, let's get into why this was actually not good for Diddy's team. Because here's the thing. I see Diddy's team's goal. They already know that he's probably going to be convicted. But a good lawyer thinks ahead. And Diddy's team is thinking ahead for when he's found guilty. You realize all these motions, and I go over them and other stuff. The reason they're doing that is because they're trying to lay the grounds that since it's such a new judge and they keep trying to make a smoke screen, that if Diddy is found guilty by a jury of his peers, they're going to try to overturn the judge's ruling, right? Through the appeals process. Now, there's about 5 ways why you can overturn. There's errors of law. I don't think that's happening. We all know what sex trafficking is, right? Like, a legal error, like he misinterpret laws, the judge did this, the judge did that, giving incorrect jury instructions. Now everybody says that is not an issue with this judge. He is young, he is new to the federal circuit, but he is about his laws. He is super super smart and nobody sees that happen. Insufficient evidence presented during the trial was legally insufficient to support the conviction. Baby, the feds come with a mountain of evidence. That's not really anything. Procedural errors, violations of due process, such as failing to provide the defendant with a fair trial. What has Diddy's team been saying the whole time? Because of the leak of that video, Diddy can't get a fair trial, and it can lead to overturn ruling. Again, the fact that Diddy actually thinks that the only thing the feds have is Cassie and his domestic violence with Cassie is wild to me. But I can't wait till they give him a reality check. All right. Um, Get this. This might include juror misconduct. That can't be it because a jury hasn't been convened. I know a grand jury, but I mean an actual trial jury. Improperly admitted evidence. They're hoping that video, if it's admitted, they can turn around and say, we want to overturn it because it's improperly admitted. An issue related to the rights of the accused, the right to remain silent, the right to an attorney, the right to a fair trial. New evidence. If new credible evidence emerges that could significantly affect the burden, good luck, because all the evidence is coming out of Wigdor, Blackbird, and Busby's office. Good luck on that. Ineffective assistance of counsel. I mean, if a defendant's attorney provided inadequate representation that impacted the trial outcome, I mean, is that why Agnifilio is still around? I joke. But and also prosecutorial misconduct. If the prosecutor engaged in unethical practices, withholding exculpatory evidence or making improper statements, wasn't that when they were at the grand jury? It can lead to an overturned ruling if it prejudiced the defendant's case. That's what Diddy's team was going for, and that's what they hope to lay down the thing. But by issuing the gag order this early in the injunction, while it's only one video, the judge literally clipped Diddy's team's plans. And even if it's so early in the judicial process, even if they were to bring this up on appeal, most appellate circuits would say, I think it's the second appellate, right? Would say, no, that really wasn't it. Why it might have played this factor, it's not a substantial factor because there was so much more evidence. So, congratulations, Diddy's team. The judge gave you what you asked for, but not what you wanted. And baby, I'll tell you one thing: Diddy's team can keep playing in the U.S. prosecutor's face like this is like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or drama back and forth. Baby, I'm telling you, in the silence, the prosecutors are sharpening their knives. Diddy, I get it. You guilty and you taking a big gamble, but never underestimate the federal government. If they took down El Chapo, if they took down the Italian mafia, if they took down Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, just say, baby, they can take down Sean Diddy Combs. And while we added the rest of his co-conspirators, I know there's people waiting for that superseding indictment. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.